Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Muichiro. Muichiro loved you, dearly so, but you never saw him for an affectionate man. You knew he had his own desires, of course, but for the most part, you would consider him someone more for hugs and kisses, and occasionally too. Not too much, not too little, but just there enough for you to know he loves you and not forget it. But more than that was not something that you counted on, and it was very weird and also extremely delightful whenever it happened. It changed things up and always made your heart flutter in happiness. You loved him when he was affectionate, and you knew that sometime along the way it will stop being just cuddles and kisses, and you are more than eager for time to pass, just so you can find that bit out, to find what your relationship will be like the more time you spend together. But for now, you will see all the little changes, and perhaps today would mark one of them. One where Micho took the initiative and did something that you never thought you would. You're reading a book, and there wasn't much for you to do, so you were quite bored and tried to spend some time that you could waste until you felt sleepy enough to head to bed. But Mitro seemed to have other ideas, because then out of nowhere, he came down to sit next to you, and you didn't really notice, so engrossed in the book that you were reading, until he leaned down with a hand on your thigh, and suddenly you had almost dropped the book out of your hand just to look at him, and he smiled up at you before pressing a soft kiss to your thigh, his eyes meeting yours once more. Do you like it, Wayan? And after a bit of hesitation, your breath hitching despite you not wanting it to, you found yourself nodding. Yes, yes, I do. You mumbled shyly, a high blush rising onto your cheeks. And looking back down at him, you noticed that he was blushing too. But that was not going to stop either of you from getting what you wanted here. He wanted to kiss you, to spoil you for once, and you were more than eager to change your plans for today's evening. Rui. Rui was not really used to affection, and being in a relationship and all of that on its own felt very weird to him. It was something he didn't know how to deal with, but sometimes he had some urges, and today was one of those days where he wanted you by his side more often. Somehow, you had actually gotten to a point where you could calm him down and bring him to be more peaceful. And even though the two of you were not family by blood, you showed him that family is not just about parents and sisters. It could be anyone that you love and anyone that cares about you. A family could be just you and your friend, you and your lover, or anyone who cares for you and demands nothing in the end. And that's how you cared for him, and that's how you got through to his heart. Rui loved you to no end, and he would do anything for you to see happiness on your face. But right now, he just wanted to spoil you, to feel you, and to love you. And that's about everything you could ever want from him, if you were to be honest. It was still a little bit startling to see the usually shy and nervous Rui, who was very startled at the concept of being physically affectionate, just kissed your thigh out of nowhere. And you had to stare at him, your eyes wide, like he just grown out another head. And then he looked back at you innocently. Are you sure this is okay with you, Ayan? I could stop if you want, but I need you. I want you more than anything, so please. And it's nothing that you can resist, not at all. Not the look in his eyes or the way he talks to you. It made your heart just sing. You loved him, and you would give him anything in the world, and that's why you nodded immediately. And he did end up kissing your thigh, and he did bite you, actually, and he was delighted at the idea of hickeys. But that's another story for another day. Giyu Tomioka. Now, Giyu was very nervous, much like Yuri, but he wanted to be more adventurous. He wanted to give you something more than he usually did. After all, the two of you were quite old, and you had loved each other for quite a while now, so the fact that the idea of physical affection was still so startling to him. And if he were to be honest, he only wanted to get better at this. To improve, to see something of any kind of betterment in the situation. He didn't want things to be stagnant. He didn't want to be stuck in the same point. After the two of you had been dating for 6 months now, it was at a point where the two of you could handle something more than just kisses and cuddles and the occasional making out session. So, that's why he had actually grabbed you and made you sit on his lap, watching as your eyes just went wide at the idea of him doing this, and you tried to muffle a giggle, though you were still blushing, and it made him notice the heat on his cheeks, the way he was blushing as well. But he decided not to focus on it. He had some confidence now, and he was not going to lose it. Not at all. Instead, instead of focusing on his own blush, he rolled up your skirt a bit, revealing your thighs. And then he leaned down, pressing a soft kiss to each one, and watched you as you squirmed a little bit in his lap, as if trying to adjust to this new thing he was doing. But eventually, you lay still, wrapping your arms around him, and letting him lead and lean his head down so you could spoil your thighs with his love, his kisses and bites. And looking at the little marks he had left behind, he certainly had a lot of things that he felt, and perhaps that was why he was pent up that day. Maybe we'll just find another way for him to get this out. That was not him marking up your poor thighs everywhere he could find. Not that you minded, of course, but since he had a lot of energy, it may be of better use some other way. But for now, you were extremely happy with the progress you were making, and looking at him, he seemed to be happy as well.